Imagine biting into a rich piece of chocolate, only to discover the factory that made it had to be evacuated because of a toxic chemical leak. That's not a movie plot. This happened inside a chocolate plant in Germany. Workers suddenly felt dizzy, alarms blared, and the sweet aroma of cocoa was replaced by a suffocating cloud of gas. Factories aren't just places where food is made. Sometimes they're hiding dangers powerful enough to send hundreds running for their lives. Before we dive in, hit subscribe to ManuFact, because here we uncover the shocking stories factories would rather keep secret. But here's the real question. How can something as innocent as chocolate be linked to a chemical scare that almost turned deadly? The incident. The morning started like any other. Conveyor belts rolled, mixers churned cocoa paste, and molten chocolate flowed into molds. But in the heart of the plant, deep in the refrigeration system, a pipe cracked. Within minutes, a colorless, odorless gas leaked into the production floor. At first, workers brushed off the burning sensation in their throats, but then came dizziness, headaches, difficulty breathing. Suddenly, the factory alarms went off. Supervisors shouted for everyone to evacuate. In less than 5 minutes, hundreds of employees were outside, coughing and gasping for fresh air, while firefighters rushed in with hazmat suits. The culprit? Refrigerant gas from the plant's cooling system. Used to chill vats of chocolate, it had now transformed the workplace into a silent danger zone. And here's the chilling part. You can't see it, you can't smell it, but in high concentrations, it can kill in minutes. Why it matters. Now, you might be wondering, why would a chocolate factory even have something so dangerous inside? Because making chocolate at scale isn't as simple as stirring cocoa powder. Factories are chemical environments disguised as candy shops. Refrigerants like ammonia or CO2 run through giant cooling systems to temper chocolate. High-strength cleaners and caustic agents sanitize the machinery. Even packaging adhesives release industrial fumes. A single failure, like this leak, can turn sweetness into suffocating poison. And here's the kicker. If fumes spread to products, it's not just workers at risk. Imagine millions of chocolate bars being recalled worldwide, headlines screaming, "Toxic chocolate," and customers losing trust overnight. Now think about this. How many times do you see chocolate factories advertised as family-friendly, with smiling tours and golden wrappers? Yet behind those doors are gases and chemicals powerful enough to cause a mass casualty event. The bigger picture. This isn't a one-off freak accident. Across the food industry, chemical leaks happen more often than you think. In India, an ammonia leak at a seafood plant hospitalized over 80 workers. In the US, liquid nitrogen escaping from cooling pipes killed 6 workers at a poultry facility. Even breweries have reported CO2 buildups strong enough to suffocate staff. Factories built to feed us can, under the wrong conditions, become as dangerous as chemical plants. And that's the shocking truth. The foods we eat every day are born in environments balanced on the edge of risk. If you want more hidden factory stories like this, smash that like button. It helps ManuFact bring these investigations to more curious viewers like you. Here's the twist. When people think of chocolate factories, they imagine golden wrappers, rivers of cocoa, and family-friendly tours. But behind the scenes, it's closer to a chemical minefield than a candy wonderland. Think about it. Cooling requires industrial refrigerants that can suffocate. Cleaning uses chemicals strong enough to burn skin. And even sugar dust in the air, if ignited, can cause an explosion. So next time you unwrap a chocolate bar, remember, you're not just eating a sweet treat. You're tasting the end product of a factory that has to constantly fight against the threat of disaster. And here's another thought. If a chocolate factory can be this dangerous, imagine what's happening in industries producing frozen foods meat, or dairy. Places where chemical refrigeration runs around the clock. How factories fight back. So, what keeps factories from turning into death traps? Gas detection systems. Fixed detectors scan the air 24/7 for ammonia, CO2, or refrigerants. Emergency ventilation. Massive fans purge contaminated air the moment gas levels rise. Evacuation drills. Workers are trained to recognize symptoms and escape fast. Preventive maintenance. Engineers inspect every pipe, every seal, every valve before disaster strikes. Certification audits. Bodies like 𝗔𝗯cie𝗂𝘁 and IFS demand airtight chemical safety systems. And here's what's remarkable. In the German chocolate plant case, these systems worked. The evacuation was rapid. No one died. Regulators praised the quick action. But here's the hook. What if the leak had gone unnoticed for just 15 minutes longer? Instead of praise, we'd be talking about a tragedy. And if this happened in a developing country with weaker safety enforcement, the story might have ended very differently. Let's step back. Refrigerant gases like ammonia aren't new. They've been used in food factories for over a century. Why? Because they're efficient, eco-friendly, and cheap. But here's the trade-off. They're toxic to humans. A whiff is fine. A lungful can be fatal. And it's not just ammonia. Chocolate plants often use liquid nitrogen to snap freeze products. Spill it in a confined space, and oxygen is pushed out, creating an invisible death trap. Even sugar, the sweetest ingredient, is dangerous. Fine sugar dust floating in the air has fueled multiple factory explosions worldwide. The lesson? Every food factory, no matter how harmless it looks, is sitting on a chemical time bomb. And only strict safety measures keep it from going off. Here's one more surprising fact. In Europe alone, food factories report hundreds of chemical near misses every year. The public rarely hears about them because they don't always make the news. But inside the industry, safety teams know how thin the margin really is. The German chocolate plant's toxic fume leak wasn't just an accident, it was a warning. A reminder that behind the shiny wrappers and sweet flavors, factories walk a razor-thin line between safe production and disaster. Don't miss the next shocking story. From ManuFact, hit that subscribe button right now. Drop a comment. Would you ever feel safe working inside a chocolate factory after hearing this? Thanks for watching. And remember, the sweetest industries sometimes hide the deadliest secrets.